Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Odin's movie blog. I am the critic who is a cynic. Hope you're doing well, and today we've got some, for me, very exciting news, and that is that we finally have a trailer for the next Ghostbusters film, the long-awaited for many Ghostbusters 3, or what's being called now Ghostbusters Afterlife, which to me takes the franchise in a direction that works for how far removed the third one is from the second one. And yes, you heard that right, the second one from the third one, because this, and this is the best part for me, this movie trailer has now officially and unequivocally made Ghostbusters 2016, that huge mistake, that gigantic turd of a movie, Ghostbusters 2016, into official non-canon territory. Now, I know many are going to argue saying it never was a part of canon. It always tried to establish itself as being its own unique thing, and you might have some evidence to show that. However, for me, this is important because this goes ahead and shows you that we, as anyone that's a Ghostbusters fan like I am I a hardcore Ghostbusters fan? Did I buy all the toys, etc.? Kind of, actually. When I was younger, I had a lot of the toys. I had a lot of the merchandise from it because I was a huge fan of this franchise. I was a very huge fan of even the second one. I know a lot of people kind of crap on it, but you know what? I tell you, that painting always scared the hell out of me. And the creepiest part of that entire movie is when the dude gets taken over, the guy that works with him at the art museum gets taken over, and at one point his eyes start to glow. Once that happened, I was like, oh my goodness gracious, this is terrifying. So I'm a huge fan of the Ghostbusters franchise. So when Ghostbusters 2016 first came out, I thought to myself, okay, it's obvious what you're doing here. You're rebooting an entire franchise, trying to start a new franchise with the sole purpose of this film existing being we wanted an all-female cast. If anyone's gonna try and argue that they were trying to make a good movie and that was their first intention, I'm sorry, but you're just lying to yourself. That movie was obviously there to try and push this woke feminist agenda that's been trying to be pushed for a very long time now in Hollywood. And guess what? The audience has said, no, we wanted a Ghostbusters movie. We don't care who gets cast in the film. All we want is a film that actually feels like Ghostbusters. And instead, what we got was a piece of political propaganda. And so, rightly so, that film flopped. And now, this trailer has officially done away with it. We can now officially erase that film from our minds because it does not matter at all within the actual Ghostbusters universe. How does this trailer do it? Well, at one point in time, they talk about Ghost. You have Paul Rudd's character that essentially affirms that Ghost exists. And he says, oh, that's interesting, a ghost trap. You don't know what those are? That used to be the big thing when I was younger because we have not seen a ghost, and this is the line, we haven't seen a ghost in 30 years. That's right. We have not seen a ghost in 30 years. And if anyone don't remember, Ghostbusters 2016 took place in the modern day world, which means they do not count that in this universe. This is absolutely a sequel to Ghostbusters 2. But as I said, it kind of takes it in a direction that I personally like. It actually ends up focusing more so on the kids, which kind of gives it this, I think, what's going to be a coming-of-age type story, which I'm always more drawn to. That's one of the things I liked about It Chapter 1, for example, was that it took the story and focused so much on the kids and their development that It Chapter 2, I think, benefited the most from when they went back in time and focused on the kids because again, there's something about nostalgia. There's something about being able to essentially live through the characters on screen. And for some reason, whenever you have kids playing these characters, going through these real life scenarios and going through these real life difficulties, even though they might exist in the movie, in this, fantastical world like in It or in this case, Ghostbusters, because oftentimes they go through actual trauma like family issues, family struggles, friendship struggles, etc. Going through fights, going through all these different things that actually happen to you. There's just this connection that you're able to draw with. So I think that this film definitely hits on the right parts of nostalgia with things like the car, with things like the siren. You hear the the siren go off at one point, and it just makes you remember the old films. And yeah, some people might be able to criticize the fact that they have kids now that seem to be becoming the new Ghostbusters, and that you don't have any of the originals show up in this trailer. But you know what? I think that's what this first trailer needed. It was to show us that this is not just going to be a film about Bill Murray and Dan Aykroyd just showing up on screen, all the others showing up on screen together and just, hanging out. It's not going to be like, I guess the equivalent for me would be Dumb and Dumber 2. It's not just going to be you have these two characters that are now a little bit older that are just going to be doing the same exact stuff on screen that they were doing previously. Now, some people may have wanted that in their Ghostbusters 3, but I think that especially since we're so far removed from that last movie, that you kind of need to go in a new direction with this one. And overall, everything with the casting to me works so far. Finn Wolfhard, I think, is a very talented young actor. I can't wait to see what his role is in this film. Even the young actress they have playing, I think it's his relative or at least a friend of his. Obviously, I think that connection also works pretty well for the most part. I think that the chemistry among all the peoples really works. And obviously, it leaves you with this question mark. Who are they related to? It seems like they're going to try and go in that direction of they're related to somebody. Oh, wait, who are you again? They have that kind of end point of the trailer, which I assume they're going to try and reveal a little bit of in the next trailer. But to be honest, I kind of hope they don't reveal that much more, because I'm already personally hyped for this film. And as I said, the most exciting thing to me is the fact that Jason Reitman makes it unequivocally clear that Ghostbusters 2016 is officially non-canon. It does not exist. And good job, because that film was terrible. And anyone out there that's still defending that movie as a good movie and not just a good political piece that they like to promote because you just hate women and that's the reason why you hate the movie. No, there's plenty of movies that have come out since then that happen to feature strong characters that happen to be women, but guess what? It's because they have strong characters. Because guess what? Most people don't give a damn about the gender of the person or the race of the person on screen, but whether or not the character is good. So let me just go ahead and read a little bit into the John F. Trent article here. And so it says the first official Ghostbusters Afterlife trailer has arrived from director Jason Reitman. So obviously there's that relation to the one of the original persons involved with the franchise, which I think is a very good personal touch. It means that you have someone attached to the project that's going to want to take care of it, that's not going to try and ruin it, that's not going to try ideally to go off on his own tangents to try and basically corrupt what it originally was about, because what it originally was about was just a fun action film. Really, it was a fun action, slightly horror-filled film, and it was meant for having fun, right? It was meant for having fun. I want to say it was almost a family movie. I wouldn't say it definitely was never really a kids movie, a kids franchise, but it was definitely a family franchise, I think, that really was able to get a lot of people excited for. And so I'm glad to see that mindset is still continuing on here. And you can see there is the car being featured in this poster. So I recommend going into Bounding in the Comics if you want to watch the video, give them a little bit of love. We have this new poster here, which I think is awesome. I love the poster here. I think it's, again, just the right amount of information of all we need to know, as well as an official description of the film, which says, from director Jason Reitman and producer Ivan Reitman comes the next chapter in the original Ghostbusters universe. The original Ghostbusters universe. In Ghostbusters Afterlife, when a single mom and her two kids arrive in a small town, they begin to discover the connection to the original Ghostbusters and the secret legacy their grandfather left behind. The film is written by Jason Reitman and Gil Keenan. So obviously you have these family connections, which are going to be interesting to see what they have and what those come out to be. Director Jason Reitman previously described the film as a love letter to Ghostbusters. I want to make a movie for my fellow Ghostbusters fans. He also noted the film would hand the movie back to the fans. And I know he got a lot of flack from that, from some of the people involved with Ghostbusters 2016. But guess what? It doesn't matter. Because if you're still salty about that, guess what? Your film is officially no longer part of the universe anymore. So say salty all you want. Your film does not mean a damn thing. You're welcome. Anyway, what are your thoughts about this? Are you excited for Ghostbusters Afterlife? I honestly think it is exactly what we need. I think that any fan of the franchise needs this, and also any fan of good, honest filmmaking that is against and being critical, anyone that's being critical of the current state of Hollywood, of constantly trying to push agenda after agenda after agenda, need a film like this, because it's great to hear someone as a director saying, I'm going to do this for the fans. This is going to be a love letter to the franchise. Yes, there are many people, myself included, right? Odin's also included in this, that's concerned that this might not be as good as the original two, and that this might be a little bit too late, and that maybe we don't need to have any more sequels. I'm right there. Normally, I would say, you know what, we don't need any more sequels, prequels, reboots, etc. We're kind of in that age now where that's all we're getting. But because we had Ghostbusters 2016, I think that this film became even more necessary. And to be honest, I would not be surprised if the failures of Ghostbusters 2016 are what pushed a lot of the people behind the scenes, including some of the actors and directors and producers behind the scenes that are attached to this project, to start getting this project going again. I think if Ghostbusters 2016 had been a giant success, this film would not be made. But because Ghostbusters 2016 bombed, because it pretty much put a giant dent on the franchise, because it was essentially a dark mark on the franchise in a lot of different ways, they needed to make this film. And they needed it just for that one line in the trailer alone. Oh, we haven't seen a ghost in 30 years. Because Ghostbusters 2016 is kaput, is done. And it's great to hear that in an official public capacity and not just from people behind the scenes. So let me know your thoughts about this and all the things we talked about in the comment section below. If you like this video, smash that like button, give us a subscribe, it helps us out a lot. You're all amazing and beautiful people. Have a wonderful day, and as always, God bless.